Michigan running back Blake Corum. Is he the RB1 in the 2024 NFL Draft? We're going to talk about that and a little bit more here on Football Scout 365. Okay, so in this series, I'm going to start to cover some of these players, starting with the running back position. Now, we've covered all of the quarterbacks, essentially the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL Draft, according to projections, according to our grading system here internally at Football Scout 365. Now I want to go through the running back position here one by one, and we're going to start with the projected RB1 in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, had Travion Henderson from Ohio State decided to come out. He was going to be our unanimous RB1 in the 2024 NFL Draft, but that's not the case anymore. For a while, it was Jonathan Brooks from Texas, which we're going to go over him in the next video. But today, we're going to focus on Michigan running back Blake Corum. Now, in terms of his physical attributes, he's 5'8", 213 pounds. This is a player who really packed on the weight after his freshman year at Michigan. Now, in 2022, before the start of the season, he packed on almost 20 pounds of weight. Most of that is from the lower body up. So it's where it needs to be perfectly in terms of the running back position. You want to see the densely built lower half working its way up to the upper half. This dude is he's built for the position, a very compactly built football player overall. Now, Blake Corum, he is from the Baltimore, Maryland area. He attended St. Francis Academy. He was a 4-star recruit out of that area. This is a guy who came in with offers from schools like Ohio State and Alabama. He ultimately chose Michigan at the end of the day, and the rest is academic. This guy has broken a ton of records at the University of Michigan. He's won a ton of awards. Now, in terms of how his game will translate to the NFL level, he's got the explosive burst. He doesn't have elite long speed, but he's got pretty good long speed. He's not separating from defenders as much as he did prior to his injury in 2022. And even after he had added the additional 20 pounds of weight to his frame, he did slow down a little bit. He lost a little bit of that long speed that you had seen from his freshman year, where he was able to separate from defenders down the field when he was breaking away in space. Now, he still has elite agility and excellent vision combined with that reactive quickness that you can see on his tape. This guy in the backfield, it's hard to get him down. He generally is going to make the first defender miss if they break through into the backfield. In addition to that, he's got excellent patience, and then that vision to allow things to set up front in front of him. You can see that as well on his tape. In almost every big game of this guy's career, he makes something happen where he uses his vision and he has some sort of a jump cut move, right or left. It's usually with some form of double team, duo blocking, or inside zone up front by the offensive line, where he reads things, allows things to set up, and he sets linebackers up where they get into the wrong gap and he bounces it one way or the other for a long touchdown run or a big gain that might not result in a touchdown, but it ends up resulting in an explosive run play at the end of the day. Even in the national championship game, you saw it from him where he closed it out. You saw it from him against Alabama in the Rose Bowl in overtime for the game-winning touchdown. You saw him do that same thing where he sets up the linebacker, jumps into the opening, and then he's breaking tackles in the open field. That's another thing with him. The contact balance, it's at another level for this guy. His game translates to the NFL level 100%. The only real question marks about him is going to be the amount of usage that he's had at Michigan. He's toted the rock a ton. Obviously, he's breaking a ton of rushing records. He's scored a lot of touchdowns, and he's utilized heavily in short yardage situations. So there's been a lot of contact in those areas, but there's no doubt about it. This guy, he absolutely can handle and carry the mail for an NFL team. I think that if you pair him up, let's just say, and this is just a hypothetical, if he were on the Detroit Lions, for example, and you paired him with Jahmyr Gibbs, that would be one heck of an elite 1-2 punch out of that backfield. Blake Corum in the short yardage between the tackle situations, and Jahmyr Gibbs, for example, somebody that you can, line up out wide and flex him all over the formation. Heck, you could have them both on the field at the same time if you wanted to. In addition to that, Blake Corum, who hasn't really displayed a ton of 3-down versatility as a receiver. He's an excellent blocker, by the way, out of the backfield. Does a great job, in pass protection situations, but he is a guy who displayed it in the college football playoff. His ability as a receiver out of the backfield, he can do that as well. It's not something Michigan used him a ton for, but when they needed him to do it down the stretch in the key moments in the college football playoff, he absolutely displayed that he had the ability to do it. He's not a versatile receiver out of the backfield where he's going to line up all over the place and do things like that, but he does give you that ability, and defenses have to be ready for that aspect of his game as well. Now, in terms of his NFL draft projections, I still have him going in the third round. Early third round would be ideal, in my opinion. There's some people out there that have him as a projected second rounder. There's been mock drafts out there that have him going 32nd overall to the Baltimore Ravens, for example. I've seen him being picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles, by the way, the New Orleans Saints, and the Cincinnati Bengals. My favorite team for him to land on is probably going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I think you pair him with Tony Pollard, you'd have one heck of a 1-2 punch. Somebody's going to get a great player. He's absolutely, in my opinion, a top 100 pick in the NFL draft. If he were to fall out of the top 100 picks, I'd be completely surprised by that. Okay, so that's going to do it. Let me know in the comments section your thoughts on Blake Corum. Is he, in your opinion, worth a third round pick? Is he better than that? Maybe a second round pick? Would you take him in the late first round? Would you even draft him at all? Is he your RB1 in your opinion? Let me know in the comments section. Let's get the conversation started. The next player that I'm going to cover is going to be Texas running back Jonathan Brooks. We're going to continue to roll through a bunch of the running backs. I'll jump into the receivers as well, and we'll continue to keep this thing going ahead of the 2024 NFL Draft. I want to say thank you again for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more great NFL Draft content.